Hello and welcome to another podcast here on ICANN Media. I'm your host, Rob Hislop. We're at the Global Petroleum Show in Calgary, and right now I'd like to introduce you to Ron Mistafa and his friend. Ron, tell us who we've got here.
We got George. He's a cross a black lab mix with something that makes him look like he's wearing a tuxedo, but he's the bomb dog for the show for DMG. We have that reciprocal business here. They give me a booth, and I give them the service here because the oil and gas industry is actually a target for terrorism, within, environmentalists and that. So we try to make it as safe as we can. And I realize we only got one dog for such a big area, but my past experience, within the Calgary Police Service, I gained a lot of knowledge in that. You're able to pick spots and people. You just know something's not right. And so we try to make it as safe for DMG as we can and the people here.
Now, you're also here. Now, this one is a bomb-sniffing dog, but you're here to give a presentation because your dogs also work in the oil fields.
That's right. The majority of my work is not only drugs and explosives like in the camps, but majority of my work is pipeline leak detection. And I have a big yellow lab for that work, and I prefer the labs because they have to travel a long distance sometimes. And we go through a lot of bush and to find a leak, and it can be a very daunting and challenging work depending where you have to go, mountains or bush or whatever.
It's interesting because at this show they have all kinds of technology to find leaks in pipelines, from drones to machines and all that sort of stuff, and you do it with a dog.
I do it with a dog, but I'm also I'll tell you what, I am also so encouraged by the technology in here because I do mix technology with my dog. And I'll give you a good example of that is, especially on the older lines that are from the 1960s and they're starting to have issues. I just tell the clients that I have, put in a smart pig in the line, map the inside, and then where you see a lot of corrosion, then we'll put some odorant in the line, pressure it up, and then I'll walk my dog over top, and then we know whether your line is good or not, and then they're able to fix it. No issues at all.
So, I mean, dogs are obviously bred for this type of thing as well. You don't go that route though with your dogs.
No, I get my dogs from the SPCA. Why not? They do such a great job taking in problem dogs. And the dog I'm looking for is a dog that usually most families cannot handle. That's the dog I'm looking for. I'll give somebody at SPCA in Calgary a little bit of information as to what I'm looking for, how to do it, how to present the ball to the dog, and that's all I do. And then they'll phone me up and say, I think we have a dog for you. And you know what? I pay for their services usually because the dogs do have to be neutered or spayed, whatever. Not a problem. But I'll give the SPCA a check for $1,000 or whatever because goodness knows they need it. They do a lot of work there.
And you obviously do a lot of good because here's a dog that is now living a useful life and is a wonderful companion as well.
Exactly. And I'll tell you, these are the crossbreeds. And from my experience from the Calgary Police Service, we used to bring in purebreds in from Germany or the Czech Republic, specifically for tracking and becoming bite dogs and that. But you know what? The crossbreeds for detection work, I have found over the years, and I've been doing this close to 30 years now, are the best dogs for detection work. They have the desire, they have the want, they have the ability and the personality. And the personality here, everybody comes by my booth, and it's usually the women, but also the guys. They got big soft hearts too, and hey, can I pet them? And this guy is all there for them, and like we do a good service for the oil and gas industry.
Do you find is business getting better for you in the industry, or is technology starting to take over a little bit more maybe?
Well, actually, you know what? The business has dropped a bit because of, number one, the fire in Fort McMurray. Also, too, is the situation with in the Middle East, them flooding the markets with oil. But you know what's starting to pick up again, and I think that's a good sign. And am I competing against technology? I don't think so, because majority of technology that is being used usually is used to find the big leaks on big pipelines where they see that the grass is already brown. For me, I could use technology too, and I'm going to, but I'm looking for the pinholes. I'm looking for the small leaks. These guys have the ability, that to find a leak that's parts per billion to parts per trillion sometimes. And the smaller the hole, I have to work in an environment that's really, hopefully, that's really, really good and quiet, like no wind, this type of thing. And yes, and we walk right over top that line. And sometimes they'll always say, "Well, we think we have 2 or 3 leaks." Well, I'll let you know. And the dogs do. They let us know if there's one leak or if there's no leak at all. Sometimes it's just an anomaly in the pipeline.
Not bad to have a four-legged creature as a coworker, is it?
Oh, for sure. It's great. I did this all my life for over 11 years, I should say, in the Calgary Police Service. You get to take the dogs home with you. You tracked for bad guys, and you had that satisfaction. So now I still take my dogs home with me, and they live with us in our home with our family. And now I get to help the oil and gas industry save time and money to locate leaks in their pipelines.
Ron, thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you.
We've been chatting with Ron Mistafa here, and just to get the name of the company, it's Detector Dog Services International. Detector Dog Services International. You're watching ICANN Media. I'm your host, Rob Hislop.